The midday sun beats down on the crowded sidewalks of Fifth Avenue.
Madeleines, monsieur? Fresh from the royal kitchens?
The businessman scurries away without a word.
Royal kitchens. Lady, the only royalty you're related to is the Burger King.
Needs more lemon zest.
Sammy sighs, scanning their surroundings.
Hey, Queenie, how about a little light reading for your loyal subject?
Those dreadful rags wouldn't dare print anything about me. Not without permission from the crown.
Sammy rolls his eyes and jumps down to the sidewalk.
Well, looks like your public awaits, your highness.
Oh, that. They're just miffed because I refuse to use margarine in the croissants. Philistines.
Right, Philistines. Listen, your majesty, maybe it's time we lay low for a while. Find a park bench, enjoy the sunshine. You know, like regular, non-royal folks.
Nonsense. Versailles awaits. We must hurry.
The air hums with the lazy drone of summer insects and the distant laughter of children.
Dodging those cops by ducking into the park was smart, I'll give you that, Queenie. But if those Madeleines don't get us to Versailles soon, I'm gonna start charging rent.
Ah, Jean-Claude. There you are. I've been meaning to consult you on the buttercream for the Queen's cake.
Sammy sighs and follows, settling down in the meager shade of the fountain's edge.
Right, because a statue's opinion on buttercream is exactly what we need right now. Back in my day, we didn't need fancy skateboards. We used bottle caps, flattened tin cans. More dangerous, sure, but that's how we liked it. Almost made it big once. Almost ended up in a baseball game snack bowl. You know, the ones with the little compartments? Thought my ship had come in. Turns out, I wasn't big enough. Too small, they said. Insignificant.
Babette continues her one-sided conversation with the bronze angel, oblivious to Sammy's musings. The sun beats down, casting long shadows across the plaza. The air throbs with the honking of taxis and the shouts of street vendors.
Leaving the tranquility of the park was your idea, your majesty. This mayhem is all you.
Too many people. Too much noise. They're closing in.
Sammy scans their surroundings.
Don't you recognize him? That's the Pigeon King, ruler of this concrete jungle. We need his blessing to pass.
The Pigeon King? I don't recall him from court.
He's a powerful ruler, easily angered. We need to offer him a gift. A tribute.
Babette clutches her tin box protectively.
Don't worry, I'm not talking about the crown jewels. Just one of your, royal Madeleines ought to do the trick.
Babette hesitates for a moment, then carefully selects a Madeleine from her dwindling supply.
There, the Pigeon King smiles upon us. Let's go.
He pulls Babette away from the column and back into the flow of the crowd. The last rays of sunlight bathe the grand facade of the Plaza Hotel in a warm glow.
That Pigeon King must have some pull. Never thought I'd see the inside of this place. Or the outside, for that matter.
Versailles. At last, we've arrived.
She straightens her apron, smoothing down the wrinkles that will never fully disappear.
Announce our arrival, Captain. Tell them the Queen has returned.
Sure thing, your majesty.
He clears his throat, puffing out his chest in a poor attempt at grandeur.
Make way, make way. Queen Babette has arrived. Open the doors, you fools.
Babette beams, extending her hand as if expecting someone to kiss it. Sammy sighs, shaking his head at the futility of it all.
Excuse me, folks. This is private property. You gotta move along.
Babette shrinks back, clutching her empty tin box. Sammy jumps down from her shoulder and places himself between her and the security guard.
Sir, you are addressing Her Majesty, Queen. Look, I don't care if you're the Queen of Sheba. No loitering. Now, scoot.
He ushers them away from the entrance and back towards the street. As they retreat, Sammy glances back at the Plaza Hotel. He is just a peanut, forgotten amidst the discarded newspapers and cigarette butts. The city lights begin to flicker on, casting long shadows that stretch into the night. The end.
Dance, Patches, dance. You're the fastest dancer in the whole world.
Thomas giggles as he swats Patch's limp body across the table.
Patches. Agnes, Agnes, Patches is gone.
Agnes rushes into the games room, her eyes narrowed in annoyance.
What is it now, Master Thomas? Making a racket like a banshee.
Patches, he's gone. He just disappeared.
Don't be daft, Master Thomas. There's nothing there.
Agnes retrieves Patches from where it lies, hidden behind the table leg.
See? Just a trick of the light. Now be quiet and leave off with the shouting. You'll wake the whole house.
Thomas lies in bed, clutching Patches tightly.
Patches, are you all right?
Just checking on you. Heard some strange noises, whispers and such, coming from the games room. Go to sleep now. You'll need your rest.
Thomas peeks out from under the covers, his heart pounding. He doesn't dare close them.
You still believe that rot about Patches disappearing? What a gullible little twit you are.
It happened. I saw it.
Oh, I'm sure you did. Just like you see ghosts in the shadows and monsters under your bed.
Give her back, Edward. Stop it.
What if I told you I could make Patches disappear again? For real this time.
Edward throws Patches onto the table.
See? Nothing to be afraid of. It's just a silly old.
A sudden gust of cold wind extinguishes the gas lamps, plunging the games room into darkness.
Ah.
Edward lies in bed, his face pale and slick with sweat.
Just a dream. A stupid dream.
Echoes of his nightmare linger. He can still feel the cold touch of unseen hands on his skin. The room is filled with an air of unease as food remains largely untouched.
I tell you, it's in the walls. Whispering to me, laughing.
Enough, Edward. We've indulged your fancies long enough. It was a fever dream brought on by that cunt.
Fever dream? My hand throbs with fire, and you call it a dream? It's that doll, Patches. Agnes cursed it. She's the one whispering.
Master Edward, mind your tongue. I've done no such thing.
Sit down, Edward. This instant. You will apologize to Agnes for your accusations.
Father, please.
His eyes dart nervously between his father, brother, and the door. The room suddenly grows cold, candles flickering ominously. The sound reverberates, startling everyone at the table. From the vortex, the chilling laughter of unseen beings rises, echoing through the house. The reality they knew has warped into something nightmarish.
This cannot be real. It's a nightmare, a trick of the light.
Voice trembling. Edward, I'm scared.
Eyes fixed on the pulsating table, silence. Maybe if we stay quiet, it won't find us.
The atmosphere becomes ominous as the reality of their situation unfolds.
Welcome, children. Shall we play a game?
Thrusting Patches at the entity. Take it. Take the doll and let us go.
The doll? A trinket? No. I believe the stakes are much higher. We play for your souls.
The atmosphere thickens with dread as the game is set in motion.
Now pick up your paddles and play, or refuse and face the consequences.
The essence of dread envelops them as the scene fades to black. The end. Ferdinand stumbles through the narrow alleyways of Temple Bar, clutching his tarnished trumpet like a lifeline.
Let them hear your pain, Ferdinand. Unleash it upon the world.
Leave me be. I have nothing left to give.
They scorned your gift, mocked your talent. Make them remember, make them fear.
Ferdinand's fingers tighten on the valves as a discordant melody spills from the trumpet's bell, each note a shard of broken glass.
Jesus, what's that racket? Sounds like a banshee on the lash.
From the shadows, Gardashan O'Malley approaches, his gaze drawn to Ferdinand.
Bloom, that's enough of that now.
Ferdinand ignores him, the music rising in intensity, becoming a guttural scream of brass and despair. The music abruptly stops, leaving a heavy silence hanging in the rain-soaked air. Ferdinand stumbles through the grand arched doorway of St. Finbar's church, rain dripping from his coat.
That Garda, watching me. But can he hear her too?
He hears only what he wants to hear. A symphony of suspicion, played on your strings.
Ferdinand collapses before the altar, a low groan escaping his lips.
Weakness, Ferdinand? Is this the sanctuary you sought? A cage of piety cannot hold what you have become.
Father Michael, drawn by the commotion, finds Ferdinand sprawled before the altar.
Peace be with you, my son. What troubles you on this stormy night?
Can you hear it? Father? The music.
I hear the storm raging outside and the turmoil within you. Come, rise. Let us find solace in prayer and conversation. Tell me, what song does your heart sing?
The priest. He offered me comfort, a kind ear. But how can I confess a truth I barely understand myself?
On the other side of the confessional screen, Father Michael listens intently.
That music. It was like something out of a nightmare. Had to be more than just some drunk's ramblings.
You have my interest, Garda. A man of discerning ears, I see. Come, we have much to discuss.
Sean follows Mr. Black into the dimly lit back room, his hand hovering near his holster.
This is a lot to take in.
This, Garda, is a collector's item. A recording of a most unique performance. The work of your troubled musician.
That sound, it's him. But how?
The source of his music is of little consequence. It's the effect it produces that truly fascinates me.
That music. That bloody music. It's everywhere. But I can silence it. I can silence her.
Silence me? Ferdinand, you are the instrument, and I am the melody. Play for them, show them the depths of their own darkness.
Ferdinand slams his fist down on the railing, a choked cry escaping his lips.
Bloom, it's O'Malley. Talk to me. Put down the trumpet.
You hear it too, don't you? This city, it hums with a darkness that only I can unleash.
He lifts the trumpet to his lips, his fingers trembling as he begins to play.
What have you become?
Ferdinand's laughter mingles with the howling wind as the music reaches a fever pitch, a crescendo of madness. The city lights reflected on the churning river distort as the music swells, leaving Ferdinand's fate precarious. The end.
The Earth, Mr. Dobbs, is not what you think it is. It's not a solid sphere, but a shell, hollowed out. And at its core, Mr. Dobbs, lies a doorway. A gateway to another dimension.
A doorway? Another dimension? But what about the heat? The pressure?
Irrelevant. This portal, for lack of a better word, it exists outside the laws of physics as we understand them.
This is madness. Utter madness. I should never have.
He scrambles to his feet, clutching his briefcase.
Another one scared off by your ghost stories, Professor?
Stone sighs, running a hand through his white hair.
And you, Professor? What do you see?
I see infinite possibilities, worlds beyond our comprehension. But I need resources, equipment, men who are not afraid of the dark.
And what makes you think I'm interested in what lies at the bottom of a hole, Professor?
I've heard stories, Miss Mayhem, about the risks you're willing to take.
You're right about one thing, Professor. I do have a taste for the unknown. Tell me more about this doorway of yours.
He lays out his research, maps of subterranean tunnels, geological surveys, even ancient texts hinting at a hidden world.
You find me a way down there, Professor. And we'll split whatever we find, 50-50.
A pleasure doing business with you, Miss Mayhem.
So this is it, Professor? The gateway to another dimension is at the bottom of a coal chute? Charming.
Not a coal chute, Miss Mayhem. The Black Maw Mine, once a source of obsidian, a stone said to possess unique properties.
Unique bad luck is more like it. This mine's been closed up tighter than a drum for 50 years. Claims it's haunted.
Whispers, they say, follow you in the dark. Voices of the men the mountain took.
Spare me the ghost stories, Lefty. We're here for treasure, not tall tales.
The air is heavy, thick with the smell of damp earth and something faintly metallic.
Obsidian, even down here, in this benighted place, its power is palpable.
If you say so, Professor. All I feel is a chill right down to my bones. And it ain't the temperature.
Did you hear that? Like, whispering?
It's just the wind, boy. Or maybe bats.
No, I can't see.
Damn it, Lefty. Hold still.
Light a match, somebody. Unless you want to see what kind of shadows this place really holds.
Calm yourself, Miss Mayhem. There's a logical explainer.
Something got Lefty.
A silence broken only by the ragged sound of their own breathing.
Next one who panics gets a bullet for sure. Now, someone strike a light before I decide this whole thing was a bad idea.
We made it. After all those tunnels, we're here.
This ain't heaven, Ed. Though it sure feels like we're in some kind of hell. What is this place, Professor?
It's beyond anything I could have imagined. A city of obsidian, built with technology beyond our understanding.
This power, it feels wrong. Like sticking your finger in a live wire. I don't like it, Professor. Let's grab what we came for and get the hell out of here.
Patience, Miss Mayhem. Such wonders, such secrets.
Each step echoes in the unnerving silence.
What in tarnation?
The Obsidian Order. I'd thought them a myth, legend whispered in the margins of forbidden texts.
Legends don't carve their names into walls, Professor. Looks like your ghost stories just got real.
Now that's what I'm talking about. That there's got to be worth a fortune.
Don't touch it, Ed. You heard the Professor, this whole place is bad news.
It's just a crystal. What could go wrong?
Lefty is enveloped in a blinding white light. He cries out just once, then vanishes, leaving behind only a faint wisp of smoke.
What in the hell just happened?
He touched the crystal, and the energy.
Silent as the shadows dance around them, the consequences of their actions loom larger than ever.
Lefty, he was a fool. But his greed, it led us right where we needed to be.
The Order, they were here all along, guarding this place, this power?
Ed, no.
Foolish girl, you cannot fight them. This power, it's beyond our comprehension.
More robed figures materialize, their forms shimmering in the unstable reality of the chamber.
Well, Professor, looks like your otherworldly portal got a little crowded.
His face reveals a blend of awe and recognition. The air crackles with electricity, and the fabric of reality begins to fray around them. They have gone too far, seen too much. And there is no turning back. Fade to black. The end. The air is thick with the scent of plumeria and the approaching storm, as Lonnie stands drawn by an invisible thread of unease.
Sister, what troubles you? The hail awaits.
A sense of wrongness. As if the island itself cries out. The earth holds memories, child. Some best left undisturbed.
Lonnie, compelled by an unknown force, approaches the exposed face of the mound.
What is that, sister? It looks unnatural.
I don't know, but it calls to me. Do you hear that? Like 1,000 insects, screeching. There's nothing, child. Only the wind and the coming storm.
The hail buzzes with anticipation, yet Lonnie can hardly focus, preoccupied by the obsidian object in her dressing room.
Sister, you are trembling. What troubles you? The audience eagerly awaits Kauai's finest flower.
It is nothing, little sister. Just the excitement of the performance. Go, tell the musicians I am ready.
Old Kamaka invokes the spirits of the ancestors, hoping for Lonnie's protection from the darkness. As Lonnie takes the stage, the audience erupts in cheers, but the static in her head intensifies. Her body moves, but the familiar steps feel foreign, her limbs jerking and twisting in unintended ways.
Sister, what's happening?
The static is deafening, her vision blurring at the edges as she stumbles through the chaotic dance. Lonnie clutches the cup, her hands shaking as the static continues its relentless assault on her senses.
And then, the music. It was as if the drums themselves were mocking me. Each beat a hammer blow against my skull. I could barely.
And the artifact? The obsidian? Did it grow warmer? Colder?
It was as if it fed on the chaos. My shame.
Fascinating. An object of such power.
You came for the artifact. Not for me.
May I?
She hesitates, then reluctantly hands it to him as the obsidian pulses with a faint energy.
The craftsmanship. Unlike anything I've seen. And this shape, almost technological.
The static, it grows stronger. You must return it.
A shadow falls across the doorway, darkening the room as Kahuna Makoa enters with grave concern.
You disobeyed the warnings whispered on the wind, child. You disturbed the slumber of the ancients.
Kahuna, I meant no disrespect, but this object, it torments me.
The whispers precede you, scholar. You seek knowledge at a dangerous cost.
This artifact, it's unlike anything I've encountered. Surely, together?
This is not a puzzle to be solved, scholar. This is a bridge to a realm where mortals are but ants beneath the feet of gods. The static you hear, Lonnie lay, it is the echo of their anger. It is not too late. Relinquish the object, let us return it to its resting place. The spirits may yet be appeased.
Her choice will determine the fate not only of her sanity, but perhaps the island itself. The remnants of the day's argument lay scattered about, filling the space with an oppressive tension.
Can't stop the drums, they're everywhere.
The kahuna was right. This object, it's twisting you. We must get rid of it.
Lonnie wrenches her arm free, her body moving to a rhythm all its own.
Don't you see? It feeds on your fear. Your desperation.
The spirits are angered, they demand a sacrifice.
Sacrifices? Spirits? This is madness.
He sees not a dancer but a puppet, her strings pulled by an unseen force.
Lonnie, look at me. It's the artifact. It's doing this to you.
She cries out and collapses to the floor, her body racked with tremors.
I have to. There's no other way.
The moment the obsidian leaves Lonnie's vicinity, the frantic dance ceases.
The spirits, they have been denied, for now.
Keone kneels beside Lonnie, his hand hovering over her, unsure if he should touch her.
The silence, it's deafening.
Dust motes dance in the single ray of moonlight that cuts through the room, illuminating Lonnie's prone form.
The silence came upon her like a shroud the moment I pried the artifact from her grasp. It's as if the life itself has been leached from her.
Do not touch her. The spirits are not finished with her yet.
Kahuna Makoa takes the obsidian artifact from Keone's trembling hand, revealing strange, intricate carvings illuminated by the lamp.
The path to redemption is often paved with sacrifice. Come, we must return this thing to its rightful place.
A light rain falls, shrouding the burial mound in a fine mist as they approach.
Why isn't she speaking? Why won't she look at me?
Hush, child. Her spirit walks in another realm now. Whether she returns is not for us to decide.
Kahuna Makoa kneels before the freshly dug earth, beginning to chant as he places the obsidian artifact in the center.
What do you see, Lonnie Lay? What do you hear?
A single tear rolls down her cheek, catching the moonlight before falling onto the cold, unforgiving surface of the obsidian. Kahuna Makoa finishes his chant, his voice echoing into the silence that follows. As the last of the earth falls, Lonnie draws a shuddering breath.
The silence, it never ends.
The rain continues to fall, a steady drumbeat against the freshly turned earth. The end. Dusty exits the back door of Harlem Hospital, the rhythmic clang of an ambulance siren fading into the city's symphony of noise.
Another day, another dollar. Another life gone too soon.
He stops at a partially collapsed section of the brick wall, a sliver of golden light peeking through the opening. Dusty steps into a hidden oasis. A field of sunflowers stretches before him, their faces tilted towards the setting sun. Dusty closes his eyes, taking a deep drag of his cigarette, savoring the unexpected tranquility. He opens his eyes and notices Miss Emma, bent over a sunflower near the edge of the field.
Never seen so many sunflowers outside a postcard.
These ain't postcard flowers, son. These here are memories, grown tall. Back home in Mississippi, whole fields used to bloom like this. Golden as far as the eye could see. Take it, a little sunshine for your troubles.
Thanks, ma'am. Don't know the last time I saw something this peaceful.
Ain't much peace left in this world. Gotta hold onto it when you find it. Even if it's just a patch of sunflowers hidden from the concrete.
Guess I should be getting on.
You do that, son. And come back anytime. These sunflowers, they always got room for another soul searchin' for a little peace.
Dusty nods, clutching the sunflower like a lifeline. Miss Emma hums a bluesy tune as she tends to her sunflowers. Dusty sits nearby, carefully sketching a sunflower in a worn notebook.
Never thought I'd find a place like this in Harlem. Makes you almost forget about the sirens and the stink of exhaust.
City tries to bury everything natural, but some things, they just got roots too deep to die. These sunflowers, they stubborn. Like me.
The rumbling of engines disrupts the peace.
What the hell?
They ain't got no right.
Mr. Beaumont, flanked by two burly construction workers, strides through the destroyed sunflowers.
This section here will be the south wing. We'll need to clear out all this vegetation.
You can't just bulldoze this place. People come here for peace.
This is private property. And this piece is about to become a luxury apartment complex.
This ain't just some empty lot. These sunflowers, they got history.
Get to work. And be careful with that bulldozer near the street. Wouldn't want to upset the neighbors.
You can't do this. Don't you see the beauty here?
Beauty doesn't pay the bills, son. Progress does. Now if you'll excuse me, I have a business to run.
Dusty exchanges a look with Miss Emma and Marcus.
We gotta do something. We gotta fight this.
Dusty staples a hand-painted sign to a wooden stake, his movements practiced after a long night of making protest signs with Marcus.
Figured if Beaumont wants to play dirty, we gotta make some noise. This whole neighborhood's about to hear about his little demolition derby.
They think they can just pave over our history? Pluck our memories like weeds? Well, this ain't Mississippi no more. We ain't gonna stand for it.
This is it, man. This is how we fight back. With art, with our voices.
A news van pulls up, its arrival heralding a new wave of attention.
They're trying to destroy something beautiful, something that belongs to this community. All for a few fancy apartments that nobody here can afford.
Tensions are high here in Harlem as residents clash with developers over the fate of this unexpected oasis. Back to you, Tom.
As the day progresses, the crowd swells, spilling from the sidewalk onto the street. Mr. Beaumont's hired security arrive to maintain order, but their presence only fuels the protesters' resolve. A tense standoff ensues, with the crowd chanting slogans. Night falls, casting long shadows across the field. Later that night, under the cover of darkness, the rumble of bulldozers returns. He arrives just in time to see the bulldozers tearing through a section of sunflowers. Rage and despair wash over him as he stands amidst the wreckage. A grim premonition settles over him. This fight is far from over. Dusty sits at Miss Emma's kitchen table, the remnants of a meager breakfast sitting before him.
Can't believe they went and did that. Right under our noses.
Miss Emma runs a weathered hand over a worn photograph.
Just like they did back home. Took our land, plowed under our history, said it was progress. Said we should be grateful. Said these sunflowers, they were just weeds.
Dusty reaches into his pocket and pulls out a single sunflower seed.
They just keep building, don't they? Like they're trying to erase everything that came before. What good is fighting for a little patch of ground when they can just come in the night and take it anyway? Feels like every time I turn around, I'm picking up the pieces of something broken.
Some things, they break whether we want 'em to or not. That's the way of the world, son. Doesn't mean we stop trying to put 'em back together.
Dusty steps out of Miss Emma's building, the sunflower seeds still clutched in his hand. As he approaches the field, he sees a splash of vibrant color on the brick wall.
Yo, Dusty, what do you think? Figured those sunflowers deserved a proper send-off.
Dusty stares at the mural, a lump forming in his throat.
Yeah, Marcus, you did good. Real good.
He walks towards the mural, his steps lighter now, the weight of the world a little less heavy. He tucks the sunflower seed into a small crack in the wall, right next to the roots of a painted sunflower. The end,